Go is a registrar from Sydney. He's here with Dr Halliday, and Brett's teaching him how to approach the hip. There's a number of different ways of accessing the hip joint, and though we can read about it and watch people, I think the best way to learn it is to actually do it. And with the cadaver, we're able to actually simulate almost perfectly what you would find in the operating theatre.
So without such a facility, how do medical students and registrars learn surgical technique?
The main ways we're accustomed to is essentially a type of apprenticeship type of training. So you work with surgeons, you learn from them under direct instruction and supervision. And lately there's been other modes of training using computers, so where you watch programs and you interact with those. They're the main ones.
In the absence of a cadaveric workshop, obviously most of your learning has to be done via books and videos, which is obviously not as good because it doesn't give you that same hands-on experience, and I don't think it's ideal having to move from books and videos straight through to operating on patients, so it's always good to have this facility here.
Commence 3D knee sequencing.
There are a range of clever techniques and tools that can not only assist in the education of professionals, but also advance health promotion, illness education, and the explanation of treatment options. 3D.me, a company based on the Gold Coast, has consented to include these medical visualisations and animations from their 3D software portfolio. Using their software, we can take a look inside the body or animate any internal or external bodily feature. As an adjunct to hands-on training, it provides useful learning and review aids by demonstrating surgical techniques and prosthetic devices. Today, medical institutions cannot purchase a body. The cadavers used have to come from people like you and me who decide to donate their whole body for medical research when they die. Have you ever contemplated donating your body to science? How do you do it? What parts can be used? And what happens afterwards? These are all common questions that arise. Ian Mellor, the Body Bequest Officer at MERF, explains how his career landed him in this unique role and why the demand for bodies is so great.
Why does QUT need a body donation program? Never had one before, and all of a sudden we've got one. My main background was in the funeral industry, and I think I covered every role, from started off as a funeral assistant, then I qualified as a funeral director. I'm a qualified mortician, qualified embalmer, and then also went on to run a crematorium. As you can see today, walking up and down the street, there's nursing courses, there's midwifery courses, there's podiatry courses. All those courses now have got potential access to a resource that they've never had before, or one that they've had to loan from another institute. The technology is running wild. Okay, we can't keep up with technology at times, but Professor Crawford will tell you we cannot replicate an actual human body.
Like any skill, you can learn so much from watching, you can learn so much from reading about it. If you can learn to play tennis, or you learn to do a sport or do anything, the only way you can ever get good at it is to practice it. And it's very hard for a surgeon to be any different from any other human being and to suddenly take something and be perfect at it. And so if we come up with a new idea of smaller incisions or using a robot or using a different technique, if we're actually going to do that in people, we need to learn how to do it.
Acquiring the bodies on which all this research and training relies is a sensitive issue. People are more aware of organ donation than whole body donation, but the voluntary opt-in system in Australia means that donation rates are very low, even for organs. In 2006, a study of 22 countries found that donation rates were 25 to 30% higher in countries where organ donation is the default, such as Spain, Austria, Belgium and France. Keith Loft, a coroner by occupation, has made his decision to opt in to the QUT Body Bequest program.
It's one of those things where I'd actually studied forensic medicine and science and finished my postgrad in that last year in 2009. And having spent so much time studying the medicine and scientific areas, I considered that we can all contribute to future generations, and they can benefit from other people actually researching in depth.
Why does the notion of donating your body to science make many people feel so uncomfortable?
You come as a whole person when you come into the world, and you should leave as a whole person when you leave the world.
I just want my body to
decompose in the ground like it's supposed to.
I'd studied anatomy for a while, and no. I'm happy to donate all my organs, but I don't want 17-year-olds looking at me and going, what's that?
There are many misconceptions, I guess, in society with regards to death. It's a taboo subject.
I know different people have different beliefs, and I think they have a right to their beliefs, but essentially, donating your body once you're dead is probably the greatest thing you can do to help other humans.
We are all very respectful of the bodies, and we pay a lot of attention to respecting the respects of the body itself. The second thing is the educational benefits that we derive from these cadavers ultimately gets translated into better treatment for patients. So in those aspects, it's the patients that ultimately get the benefits of what we do.
All of us are going to die eventually. What happens to our bodies afterwards, well, that's really up to us.